Hey friend, I'm Robin May, and a few of the professional hats that I wear includes being a transformational speaker, a life coach, and a licensed therapist. And personally, well, I'm a wife, a mommy to 3 girls, and a pastor's wife, just to name a few. Girl, I'm over here doing all the things while trying to stay in shape and keep my skin clear. But the truth is, I don't want to be known for being busy. I think that's a scheme that somebody set up. No, I want to be known for living a life that is in perfect alignment with what God intended. And I want to help you do the same. So it's with that in mind, I'd like to welcome you right here to Intentional Conversations with Robin May and friends. Over here, we're creating a safe space to have real conversations with real women on real topics. This is a judgment-free zone where we can be vulnerable and honest and curious about our lives so that we can elevate not just what we do, but who we are. So if any of that resonates with you, again, welcome to our safe space. This is Intentional Conversations with Robin May and friends. Hey friend, it's Robin, and we are continuing in our series, Friendship Therapy. And this is part 2 of a 2-part conversation on navigating conflict in friendship. And my big sister, Kim, is still with me on the podcast. I want to remind you of what we talked about during part 1 of this 2-part conversation. And then I'm going to give you a taste of what we're going to talk about coming up. But first, have you grabbed your friendship journal? You have 2 choices to choose from. You can grab your friendship journal at robinmayonline.com/friend. My thought is you should go ahead and grab you 2. Grab one for you and then grab one to send to one of your Count on Me friends. Listen, do you have a friend that's the one that inspires you, the one that keeps it real with you, the one that won't let you wear what you're trying to put on? Do you have that friend who will tell you just grab your passport, let's go? These journals allow you to highlight that friend, so make sure you grab it. Okay, so in part 1 of my conversation with my sister, we talked about whether or not she would go to friendship therapy. Her response cracked me up. We also talked about how she began to value friendship in a way that she hadn't before. What happened in her life that caused her to begin to value friendship. We also talked about our mother's impact on how we view friendship. And we also talked about how we hold one another accountable in how we navigate friendship. Well, baby, coming up in part 2, we continue the conversation about why honesty is so important to both of us in friendship. We began to unpack how I handle conflict. And my sister shares how if we weren't sisters, she don't know if we would be friends because the way I handle conflict, she's not here for it. We also talk about the importance of safety in friendship. And we even talk a bit about the fight, flight, or freeze response that even, yes, happens in friendship. Y'all, this conversation is just so good, and I can't wait for you to dive in. So let's head on over to part 2 of my conversation with my sister, Kimberly.
Times I've come across when I started changing my view on what friendship was. Now I'm investing and I'm really cherishing my friendships. Mm-hmm. So when it came times where I was about to lose them because of something like that, I started not wanting to do that.
Yeah, I love that. But the other part though is, and this is a thing I think that a lot of people miss, it's that you were being, like something would have happened and I would be telling you, I agree that was shady, or I agree that might have been shady, because I would be thinking, what if there's a different perspective? So it's not that the trigger or that your response was for no reason. I just kept feeling like, but the response is not congruent with what the trigger was.
Absolutely. But you know, and I totally agree. And so when I started to realize that, I really began to work on literally feeling like I'm sitting on my hands and saying, I want to say this right now, but I'm not going to say this because I know where it's going to end. But I also started realizing, because Robin knows, I'm probably one of the most transparent and honest people. Like, I'm going to tell that she gets mad because if we decide we're not going to say nothing, we're not going to say, like to my mom, like, well, don't tell mom this, I did, and I should say, all right. But if we're not saying anything, because it may be something I don't want her to know this happened with me.
Yeah.
She'll say, because you're going to don't start that coming back in 2 weeks saying, you know what, I feel really bad.
ahead. Let's bring God into it, because you love you some Jesus, baby.
Love me some Jesus.
And you will get convicted.
And I'll tell it.
I love me some Jesus.
She's going to keep the secret.
I am not going to say it. Once we decided we're going to say that, I'm going to be convicted. I'm going
to say, hey, girl. She's like, nope. Nope. And when he started working, I'm not going to tell the details of it.
Don't tell it.
But okay. I was like, I feel bad. We'd be on the phone running something down about gossiping. So we would.
One day you called me.
I would call her after my church girl, and run whatever down, and we run it, and we'd be tickled. And then one day I called her, I said, girl, I said, God is really dealing with me on several things. I said, and one of the things, I can't with you. Stop.
Okay, girl.
One of the things is gossiping. I said, I feel bad about that. She said, huh? I said, so yeah. I said, you know how we get on this phone and we talking about, she said, yeah. He hadn't said anything to me about it. He's not working. I was like, what?
You were like, what in the world? And so that's what's so crazy.
Because she may just have in the past years become a preacher's wife, but she's always been a preacher's wife. She's always been a good little Christian girl. So when she said, he's not working, he hadn't told me anything about it. So basically, I'm
gonna keep on. So who am I gonna talk to about
right.
this? You're my person.
And I'm like, and I want her to stop. We're gonna do this together. She's saying, well, you're on your own.
So I'm painting that picture because if I used to get so mad because if the conviction kicks in for you, you're gonna go on your apology tour. And I'm like, now you're taking it too far.
I was on an apology tour for like 5 years. God had me on an apology tour.
And I was annoyed.
She was like,
you're apologizing?
Going there and apologizing to our mother. I would be like, so girl, let me call you back. Let me call him. She was like, no, wait a minute. Just let us sit for a minute. Let us sit for a minute. So I would, and then so what I started doing though, Robin, I noticed is when I would take on new friends. Now this is the truth, because it's different reasons why we attract to people, and I'm not talking about in no romantic way. I'm talking about okay, so you might feel like, oh, she dresses nice. Oh, she knows everybody. Oh, she's whatever reason y'all click. And so I would click with people. So Robin and my ex-husband would have this thing where they would be like, the person's not going to get past point A. Because like she said, I'm a people person. So I meet people.
And they're drawn to you.
And they are. And so the first thing starts happening is, let me get your number. So I'm like, all right. And we exchange numbers and and we are really clicking. I know that I'll probably never talk to you again in life.
So sad.
But they don't necessarily know that, but I'm just being friendly and enjoying this moment. So, but there are people that would pursue and get past point A. But what I realized, if we get past point A, and there's certain things that, because I have a lot of point A friends, and so we're cool, and I
friends.
Yeah, and
wait before you keep going, because in the previous podcast I talked about hey girl friends, just so those friends are like, hey girl, but I reference that you used to call it, what about them cowboys kind of friends? Just the friends you'd be like, what about them cowboys? But baby, point A friends, I love that.
Because you do get to point A, and we might do certain things. We might lunch, we might go to lunch, we might hang out.
She was going to say get a drink, but go ahead. You didn't want to.
I stopped. We might hang out. We might hang out, but when it comes to now we're finna get where you're finna be in my heart or in my world, because I can't have, for me, you got to be honest.
Oh my God.
I can't have you trying to gaslight me and not admit to your stuff, because that's frustrating. You know how when you with a man.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, if I'm with a man and we're committed, I may try to work on. I just feel like my friendships, while I do you have to work on them, I want that to be such a safe place of
vulnerability and openness. Yeah, because you are. So that's what you were saying. You were like, you are very honest. And so for you, when you don't get that back from somebody, it's very triggering.
That's when the part she was talking about before, when we were saying I want to knock you in your head because
yes.
you know that you're not being honest.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
and if you don't, then it's.
But you and I also have said, to be fair, Kim, I think we are more transparent than the average person. And I'm trying to be careful about that because I don't want it to sound like we're boasting ourselves up, but you and I are more.
And I even more than you. I mean, I tell my stuff down to the dirty bone.
It's like,
and I'm so honest about the stuff. It's so, you might not be able to handle it because you got, because it's like, you might even say, I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
But because I am so that way, you don't have to get naked. You don't have to get naked. What we mean by that is, I'm telling you my stuff. I'm taking my clothes off and you sitting there fully dressed. Mm-hmm. And you have, so you don't have to do that, but you have to be honest even about that to me. You need to be saying, girl, listen, I'm not going to be upfront with this, blah, 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 because
just
of this.
That. Yes, just say that. And so for a long time, you were leaving a trail of blood behind you. One of my little sisters, one of my girlfriends who Kim now loves. I'm gonna go ahead and say the name. Hey Zoe. Zenobia, my girl. I used to tell her, y'all are so similar, because I used to tell Zenobia all the time, you're bringing a machete to a fist fight. And so it's not that you weren't triggered, it's just what your response is. And so y'all have that in common. Okay. So you gave me a B-, and you said you would have given me a C+ as well. So I'm going to share kind of how I think I frustrated you with conflict, because for me, I just would shut down.
Go in the room and shut the door and lock it.
Shut down. Come to you, venting to you about it. And you're like, okay, so then what'd you say to them? Nothing.
Or she would come back. And so I said, all right, well, I mean, it would be something like, I said, well, no, she'll be like, and I didn't even call the next day.
Right. And you'll be like,
okay. And then, no, I normally call the next day. I said, well, baby, they're just thinking you don't feel well.
She would be like, what you're thinking is nobody's realizing it. And so you would think we were raised in two different households because, and I'm going to bring up something in a minute. I'm going to try to do it without exposing too much, but I think I know why. But I, on the other end, would not confront conflict at all. I would suck it up. Kim, you know how you used to say, to this day, I still do this. When there's a heated conversation going on,
she's packing up.
I'm grabbing my purse.
With our family, like when my dad was still alive, one Saturday, I don't know where Lee was, but they had come to Atlanta. And me, my mom, and Robin, we were grown. We were at the house, and we had something came up, and we went in, and we were so proud because it took maybe 4 hours for us. But somebody was crying at one moment. She had packed up at one moment, came back. Mama went because her and Mama, my mher are notorious for that. That's where she gets to pack up.
I'm gonna pack up, and I'm gonna leave.
And me and Daddy are right here and say, like, come on with it. Let's go.
Her and my dad.
Let's talk about this.
They want to go in, and me and my mother will be like, all right. And so to this day, if I'm having an intense conversation with somebody and they start raising their voice, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
And you see how exhausting that is? Because I talk loud anyway. So
what do you have to say? Nobody's mad.
I said, nobody's, because she'll start saying, all right, you starting to. I said, girl, because I got to keep my voice at a very low range. And because she's thinking somebody's going to start. We're going to get into it or whatever. We're just talking. I'm excited. I'm passionate.
And so I would shut down. And I think, when I think about this, when Mom and Daddy, when we were growing up, now remember we're 8 years apart, but when we were growing up, we used to say, if they're having an argument, I am in the room, I have earplugs on, I have a pillow over my head because I don't want to hear it. You said
I would be in the hallway peeking around the corner like, this is juicy.
And so we just responded to it differently. But this is the deal. How I responded to it, or how I have responded, the reason why you were going to give me a C+ as well, it had its own consequences.
Right. Because, she was shut down. And then the other part of it that comes from, because you wouldn't hear it all, because you were shut down. So had you stayed, it may have been resolved. Mm-hmm. Because she cuts out too quickly. Mm-hmm. And so now you don't know what the other person was. Maybe we would have gotten to what they meant. We would have gotten to the offense. We would have ironed it out. I go on and on and on to where it might have got ironed out, but now we done brought some more stuff.
You done added some more stuff. Right. And I think, Kim, that's what I'm afraid of. So what's interesting, one time, the girls, I was on the phone in the kitchen with some friends. They were on speakerphone, and my family was in the house too. And these group of friends, we were trying to rank who is pop-off queen the most. Who is the person who's going to pop off the most? Well, say it was 5 of us. I was ranked very low. They were like, Robin is not going to pop off. So my family is hearing this conversation, and Lee and the girl said, no, she needs to be number 1 because their experience of me is that I go in.
And what's our experience of Mom?
That with us, she gives it to us straight. Anybody else? Kim, anybody else? The same way you feel about Mama is the same way you feel about me.
Mama will come home telling you about and only to say, and what did you do? Out of my car.
I left. We would be so upset. And so I think I said that part about the family, how Lee and my children rank me is because I feel safe with them to go there and know we're going to be okay. A lot of times in conflict with friends, I'm afraid, because you know this about me, Kim, I'm afraid they're going to say something that I'm not going to be able to rebound from. So I'm leaving because I'm feeling overwhelmed and I don't want our friendship to end.
Because she will end it, and no matter who comes back and says what, it's ended.
And they don't know it though. That's the thing. Yeah. The people that you know within the same.
That's my feelings. The same way it hurt your feelings that I would be such a weapon. My mouth would be used as such a weapon. Yes. That was sad.
Yes.
But I'm the type, if we talk about it, I'm really good the next day. I'm really good.
And I'm not. And so you would be like, they don't even know that y'all not friends anymore. Because I'm still going to be friendly.
Yeah, she's still going to be friendly. But she's going to avoid.
Yeah. And I can see how there are people who would say, and that's why I said people a lot of times choose you over me. It don't have to be a choice. You can have both of us. But I can see how operating with me like that can be frustrating because it can be like, I don't know where I really stand with her because she's friendly. She's not going to curse me out. Like if somebody said, Robin cursed me out, anybody who knows would be like, no, she didn't curse you out. Robin didn't speak to me maybe.
And I've always said that I don't know. This is going to be not good to say.
Go ahead.
I tell her and my mother, I don't know if we weren't related, if we would be friends.
Oh, I love that we talk about that.
Because like what she's describing, while she's saying all that, I'm thinking, so I wasn't fool with you. I wasn't fool with you. And it's sad to me though, because you are so awesome. Like, it's such a joy to be her sister, and we are friends too. Mm-hmm. And so because I have the honor of being your sister, I know I can go beyond that, and I know, people are missing out if that happens. Yeah. But I would be missing out because I would be feeling like I'm not finna fool with nobody. Because here's the thing.
Because if I can't know that we done talked about it and we good.
We good. On top of that, I'm gonna air my differences. I'm gonna say what I don't like about people. She's not gonna do that. And I don't know that when I'm doing that's cool to do.
It's not.
Oh.
It's not, because you will let them know. And I just feel like I have this new concept about tiers of friends. It depends on what tier.
Right, because I was thinking point A people, I'm not letting them know.
Oh, Kim, come on now. Point A people, you'll figure out how to tell them.
But it'll be cutesy.
It don't matter if you try to make it cutesy. And that's what I'm saying. They're still offended.
I feel like, okay, here's the thing. Then is it a point before point A? Because those people, they think they really like me because I don't go into anything. I don't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
If you sitting up and putting your shoes on the wrong foot, I'm going to say, okay. Okay, that's how you do that. You want some chips?
For Kim,
because
I can't do that with point A people. I cannot sit. I'm going to be saying, so.
Which, you going to tell them about the shoes?
I'm not going to tell them. You're right.
That's my point.
I'm not going
to. Now, if you point A, if you've made it to point A, I'm going to say, girl, I see you with your shoes on the wrong foot.
Because you going to figure out, that's the thing, you going to figure out how to tell somebody.
Because I feel like, why are we sitting up here with these shoes on the wrong foot?
Okay, so I think this is an important conversation because, again, on the surface, the way I handle conflict could seem like the mature way, right? On the surface, because I'm not creating
any type of havoc.
Havoc. I'm going on about my business. But my way comes with its own consequences. Your way is just consequences up front.
Absolutely.
And so you may be leaving a trail, but then people don't really know
where you are,
where I am. And I pray that I have improved with this. I think I have to some degree based on the dynamic. The more I feel safe in a relationship.
And that's true. The more you feel safe, you definitely will reveal.
Yes, I will reveal. And what safety is that I know that as we are talking, as we are sharing, we're not hidden below the belt. We're not doing anything that's going to cause long-term harm.
And I think the solution that both of us, what we're saying in essence is, we've both looked at the type of people that we choose to surround ourselves with.
Yes.
And everybody's not going to be your inner circle.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. And that's totally okay.
Right. And so I love that. Everybody's not going to be your inner circle. And so when I hear people say, I don't want friendships that require work. And I just think that that's unrealistic.
I would have thought that, but that is very unrealistic.
Right.
If it's going to be worth its weight in salt. Because at this point, to me, I just feel like you get to a certain point, friendships matter and they come with something.
Right.
And if they're just going to come with good morning,
and that's it,
then that's not, you can do that with a stranger on the street. So absolutely. I think friends are doing, they're standing in time of need.
Right.
They're encouraging. They're doing constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
and you may not like that. So I think, but to your point though, I don't have the capacity at 48 with 3 kids and a husband to have to do that kind of work with 20 people. I don't have the capacity for that. So it can't be everybody.
And I don't have the capacity to do it with one person to a whole level of where I'm just tired as if you're my husband.
Exactly. So to that, when we talk about conflict in friendship or even toxic friendship, if it starts to be that all of our interaction is
push and pull and
and we're fighting and you're triggering me, I'm triggering you, that may be an indicator, if nothing else for this season, that we can't be in relationship.
Yeah, we have to kind of sit it out a little bit.
Sit it out a little bit. And I think it also goes to, and I'm going to wrap up with this, I think it also goes to us cleaning out the filter of our expectations, because a lot of times is what we are expecting from someone.
That is so good.
You know?
And it's what, because you've said this so many times, and Mom, we heard, or did you say it? I don't know, but I've heard that we've all been dropped.
Do you know who said it?
Who?
You.
Oh, hey.
That's some guy in the Bible. It starts with an M, and you were talking about, I think you had to.
Oh, yes. David's, was it David's?
I don't know. I just know it starts with an M, and he was dropped by his father.
And he had this disability.
Yes.
I'm calling it that.
And you, when you were at a previous church, you taught it at youth service.
So basically, so he was dropped. So I was the
Tell me who said it. You, ma'am.
The summary of it is that we've all been dropped at some point. Because I had to use that when I'm with my mother in our relationship and the conflict we would have. And I had to realize she's been dropped.
Yes.
So even though I put her on this pedestal, and I do, everything that she says and does may not be just Bible, because she's been dropped as well.
Right.
And so when we realize with friendships, when we've been dropped, I can't bring all of my hurts into this one thing and expect this person to get me on every level. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And because I have an idea of what somebody is supposed to do in friendship and how they're supposed to show up, even like this idea of assumptions or how we think people are supposed to do. You and I, oh my gosh, we're about to wrap. I know we're going a while, but I want to say this. So one of the things that you and I have talked about, navigating conflict, you're not going to be the friend necessarily that's going to go to every event that somebody has.
At all.
So when we talk about assumptions, what sometimes can happen in conflict, and you don't require that of a friend
at all.
And so if somebody's having an expectation of you like that, they're going to be disappointed. And instead of recognizing Kim is not the go to the event with me friend. Oh, hold on, y'all. Let me pull out my little journals. Kim, when you look at all the list of friends, Kim is going to be the pray through with your friend.
Yep.
You're going to be the laugh with your friend. Some of these things is not going to be who you are.
Right.
And so what was happening is even you may want the friend who's going to be on the phone with you.
Right. And yeah, everybody don't do that because I'm a phone person.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, because my sister would call, the other day I said, how many more times you going to call?
And she's upstairs and I'm downstairs. I probably called her 6 times.
I said, another call. And so, but I think when we began to take the pressure off, friendship does require work. We'll say that. The level of work is based on the level of friendship. But even with the closest of friends, if it feels like there is a constant battle, either we need to consider if this friendship is salvageable, or do we need to adjust what our expectations are of the friend? Don't you say?
Right. And there's sometimes that things need to be unpacked. There's some offense somewhere that you haven't talked about, and you need a person like Robin said. I'm her person, and she's definitely mine, because you need somebody who is going to be fair and not just agree with you because she's your girl. So Kim, if you come to her, and you come to her and say, "You think I'm tripping because I told girl, no, you're not tripping. That's not. Tell her the truth, like because you know that there are times when you feel in your inner spirit that." Friend that you kind of and I always tell my girlfriends, tell me. I probably will get mad. And I probably will hang up the phone. I will. I'm going to probably say, all right, I'll talk to you later. We'll do this. Let's start over tomorrow. I have a girlfriend right now who's going to say, yep, because I say, we'll try this again tomorrow. But
what you'll say to me is, can you be on my side this time? I'm gonna need you to be on my side.
And she'll be like, okay, well, it's not for real because but I am so fair, and I feel like if you really love that person and you really are fair, friendship is, you're gonna come back and say, all right, you're gonna think about it. So I like friends who will go away and think about it. You don't have to always be ready to take what I'm saying, but at least be willing to go somewhere and sit and think, well, did she have a point?
Yeah.
Because when you have those kind of friends, it doesn't matter. The reason I can go to her, because I know that, why would she lie to me about that?
Oh my God, Kim, we've talked about, so number one, you have salvaged or helped me to not ruin or not end so many friendships, because when I brought it to you, you've said, Robin, you know how you do though. Because my sister, let me just put a pin in it. My sister one time was not speaking to me.
I was irritated with her.
And we were not speaking. I didn't. So she called one day, we were on the phone when she decided to start talking to me again.
We hadn't talked for 2 weeks.
It could not have been 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks?
But you're busy, so we might go 2 weeks.
We will not go 2 weeks.
Well, maybe a week.
Okay. But this might have been 2 weeks. Okay. So we on the phone. I'm like, hey, and she was like, yeah, we talking. She was like, because when we weren't speaking a couple of weeks ago.
And she said, oh, we weren't speaking? I said, no, I hadn't called you. And when you called me, I didn't pick up. And she said, she did what she's doing right now, laughing. What? I said, yeah, because you said it's so wrong with the explanation. She was tickled like this. Because she said, went over my head, had no idea.
And so there have been times where I have been frustrated about something. And you have my back, and I got to be very careful what I say to you, because you want to go on Facebook and pop off. But for the most part, you're going to tell me. And so one time I was venting something to her, and she said, but you get in your world and you will completely miss that you have done something to somebody. And they're mad.
Right. And so you may have, it's a possible offense. So you have got to be able to go to someone and talk to them about it and hope that they'll be fair and they'll tell you the truth. And when they do, be willing to sit back, think about it,
and consider
it.
Now, you said this, I know we got to wrap, but you said several times, and be fair. Somebody comes to you and you're saying to be fair. What does that mean?
That means that you're taking your emotions out of it, and you're looking at the facts, and it's like fighting fair.
Yeah.
You have to be able to say, that to be fair, I do know that I have a tendency to shut down.
Yes.
To be fair, I do know that I have a tendency, my facial expressions show.
Absolutely.
So if the person's saying, and you seem like you got mad, I was mad. I was mad.
Clearly, there was something about your
mannerisms. You were mad.
Yes.
And so then I find myself fighting that. So then that's when the whole, oh, okay, I can't, because now you're going to play like you weren't mad and you were.
And so now we can't even bring a resolve. And so what Kim is saying, when we talk about conflict in friendship, she has learned that she doesn't have to blow the whole friendship up. It's like fight, flight, or freeze. Her tendency is, I'm going to fight. My tendency is, I'm probably going to be flight, right? And so you've learned to stop fighting. I am learning to stop fleeing and to sit in. And I think I want you, as you're listening to this conversation, what is your normal tendency? Who are you, Team Robin or Team Kim? Make sure you DM me on Instagram and tell me, are you Team Robin or Team Kim? Who do you tend to function like? Or is there another way that you tend to respond in conflict? Sister, I'm so excited.
Me too. Finally, I did too.
And I'm so glad they get to have a taste of my person.
Yes, me too.
I love you so much. Bye. And I'm so glad y'all were here. Make sure you subscribe, share this conversation with other people, and thank you for being with me. I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Intentional Conversations with Robin May and friends. Listen, these conversations are to help you live intentionally, fully engaged, to help you elevate not just what you do, but who you are. And listen, I am committed to being in the trenches with you. If you haven't already, make sure you head on over to youcanlivelife.com/academy. Yes, girl, the Academy doors are open. This is where you get to dive into further conversations on our podcast topics. We get to dive into the trenches of the life course, the course that I have created to help you create the life that you long for. And we get to have monthly office hours where you can ask me any questions you have about all of this. Girl, Life Academy is where we can do life together. So head on over to youcanlivelife.com/academy.